All right, let's get right into it. The title alone is, well, it's pretty provocative, isn't it? Disappear for 6 months. I mean, that sounds radical, maybe even a little crazy. But what if it's not crazy? What if it's actually the secret to making the kind of progress you've only dreamed about? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today, this idea of invisible progress.
And let's be honest, does this feel familiar? You ever have one of those days or weeks where you feel like you're constantly busy but not actually productive? You're just drowning in distractions, right? Your phone's buzzing, emails are piling up, but when you look back, you haven't made any real progress. It's like you're stuck on this hamster wheel, just running and getting absolutely nowhere. And man, is it exhausting.
So here's the kicker. It's not really your fault. I mean, think about it. We're living in this world of just constant noise. The pings, the dings, the notifications, the alerts, it never stops. There's this massive pressure to be plugged in, to be connected 24/7. But the whole argument here is that the very thing we think is keeping us in the loop is actually holding us back. It's shattering our focus into a million tiny pieces.
So, what's the solution? How do you get out of that cycle? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The answer is something called the art of disappearing. Yeah, you heard that right. It's this powerful, totally unconventional idea that to move forward in your life, you first have to intentionally step back from all that noise.
Okay, so let's break that down. What is invisible progress? Well, think of it as a strategic retreat. It's not about being antisocial or hiding from the world. No, it's about being pro-goal. It's about you deciding to build like a fortress around your daily routine, your time, your attention. And you do that so you can focus all of that energy, laser-like, on that one big thing that really truly matters. And this quote really sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. Make your world smaller so your vision can get bigger. See, it's a paradox, right? It's not about just locking yourself away. It's a strategic move. The idea is that by cutting out all the clutter, all the distractions, all the noise, you're actually creating the space for your vision, your big goal, to grow and take over.
So, okay, you might be thinking, that sounds like a lot of work. Why would I do all that? What's the payoff for this intense 6-month focus? Well, get ready for this, because the promise is pretty extraordinary.
And here it is. This is the key insight, the one big idea that makes this whole strategy so powerful.
Bam. There it is. Just let that sink in for a second. 6 months of quiet, focused work can put you 3 years ahead of everybody else. Think about it. While the rest of the world is just caught up in the day-to-day chaos of notifications and meetings, you are building, you're creating, you're accelerating at a speed that is just impossible for them to keep up with.
And this just drives the point home. We're not talking about getting a little bit ahead. The scale of the return here is massive. It's an almost unbelievable trade. 6 months of your focused time for a 3-year lead. 3 years. That's the prize we're talking about. It's a total game changer. All right, so the big question is, how? How do we actually do this? It's a great idea, but we need a plan, right? Well, let's get into the practical, actionable steps for building your own personal fortress of focus.
It all starts with 2 really simple but really powerful actions. Step 1, you've got to cut out the noise. And step 2, you have to get really, really good at saying no. That's it. Those are the 2 cornerstones for building this whole thing.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, cutting the noise could be as simple as just stopping. Stop answering those meaningless texts that go nowhere. And saying no, that means turning down invitations to drama or social things you feel obligated to go to but don't actually want to. It's about being absolutely ruthless, in a good way, about protecting your time and your energy.
And see, this is the whole point. Every distraction you cut, every time you say no, it's like you're laying another brick in the wall of your fortress. And that fortress is designed to protect your most valuable resources, your time and your focus. Because it's only inside those walls, away from all the noise, that you can finally do the deep work that matters.
So I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Seriously, if you gave yourself this gift, 6 months of silence, 6 months inside that fortress of focus, what would you build? What business would you start? What skill would you finally master? What vision would you bring to life?
Hey, welcome! Today, we're going to talk about something that drives so many of us crazy. It's this weird paradox where our biggest, most exciting goals, well, they often end up making us feel like we failed. It's a super frustrating cycle, but what if I told you there's a powerful and kind of simple way out? I mean, does this sound familiar? It's January 1st. You are so motivated. You are going to change everything. You've got the plan, you've got the energy. And then, boom, a few weeks go by and you're kind of right back where you started. Just wondering, what happened? Trust me, you are not alone in this. And this is the cycle, isn't it? We get drawn to these huge, dramatic changes. We think, I'm going to hit the gym for 2 hours every single day, or I'm starting this crazy new diet. But the result is always, always the same, right? We get burned out, we get frustrated, and we quit. It's a trap, and we're the ones setting it. Which brings us to what you could call the excitement trap. This is really the core of why our best intentions just fizzle out. We have this idea baked into our brains that for a change to stick, it has to be this big, revolutionary, exciting event. But as we're about to find out, that is a huge misunderstanding of how real, lasting change actually works. So here's the kicker. The very thing we think is the key to success, that thrilling, all-in, go big or go home approach, is often the one thing guaranteeing that we stay stuck. Chasing exciting habits, it turns out, is pretty much a dead end. All right, so that brings up a pretty massive question, right? If the flashy, high-intensity approach is basically doomed to fail, then what's the alternative? What on earth are we supposed to do? What's the secret ingredient for progress that we've all been missing? The answer is boring. Yep, boring. It's the complete opposite of everything we're told to chase. It's not glamorous, it's not going to get a million likes on Instagram, but let me tell you, it is the most reliable, powerful engine for transformation you will ever find. And that brings us to the power of boring. Now, we're going to totally redefine what boring even means. This isn't about being dull or lacking passion. No. This is about a much smarter strategy. It's about discovering those super quiet, consistent actions that quietly change everything. So what even is a boring habit? Well, think of it like this. It's an action that is so small it feels almost unimpressive, insignificant even. But the magic keys are consistency and time. See, it's not about radically changing what you do in a single day. It's about slowly and quietly changing who you become over the long run. This quote just nails it. The focus isn't on some huge, impressive, one-time effort. It's all about the small, unimpressive action that you just repeat. The goal isn't a single shiny achievement. It's a deep, fundamental shift in your identity over time. But you might be wondering, how can something so small create such big results? Well, the magic is all in the compounding effect. This is the mechanism, the engine that turns those tiny, almost invisible daily actions into absolutely life-altering outcomes. You know, the best way to get this is to think of it just like compound interest for your money. One small deposit in your bank account today feels like nothing, right? But you do that over and over for 30 years, and those tiny deposits grow into a fortune. Well, your habits work the exact same way. Let's just break it down with a simple example. Let's say this small action is reading 1 page of a book a day. Just one. It feels kind of silly, it's unimpressive, but you apply daily consistency. You do it every single day. And then you just let time do its thing. Over months and years, that tiny little habit compounds into a massive result. You haven't just read a few books, you've become a well-read person. And this works for anything: fitness, learning a skill, relationships, you name it. And look, ultimately, this is not just about hitting goals. It's way bigger than that. This is about building your future self. Every single tiny action you take, no matter how small it seems, is another brick you're laying in the foundation of the person you are becoming. I really want you to let this one sink in. Every single time you choose to do that small, boring habit, flossing 1 tooth, writing 1 sentence, walking for 1 minute, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're reinforcing the identity you want to build. And those small votes, cast over and over, day after day, that's what ultimately wins the election. So I'll just leave you with this question. Forget the grand, exciting overhaul. Think smaller. Think quieter. What is one tiny, unimpressive, almost laughably easy habit you can start today that the person you'll be in 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years will look back and thank you for? Because that's where the real transformation begins.